Well, let's turn in our Bibles to Acts chapter 17. Acts 17. How many of you have a cell phone with you today? Pull it out. Let me see it for a moment if you wouldn't mind. Just grab that cell phone. Let's see it. Okay, turn mute on right now. That's mute so it doesn't ring. Have you ever noticed that when a cell phone goes off, the perpetrator never wants to turn it off? They're so embarrassed, and you hear it and you're trying to find the sound, and it's usually the person with the really red face. You know, it's in the purse. They don't want to reach for it. Sad thing, it's a man. No, but, well, I have an iPhone. This is not a product promotion, but I have one of these iPhones here. And I remember when this thing first came out, there was so much anticipation about what it was going to do. It was said it's going to revolutionize the whole phone industry. And there was so much hype and excitement about the iPhone, it was dubbed by some the Jesus phone, which I thought was amazingly blasphemous. But I got mine after it came out, and I had it for a couple of weeks, and we were holding a crusade in New Zealand, and they had not yet arrived over there. And when I pulled mine out to illustrate something, there was an audible gasp that came from the audience. He has the iPhone, you know. And, you know, in many ways, it really did change the way that phones are made and used, because it gives you an easy access to a lot of different types of media at the same time. You can listen to music, grab your contacts, show photographs. It even makes phone calls on top of all of that. And so now, of course, there is the imitators, because the iPhone has been so successful. I think 5 million have been sold. So pretty much every other phone company has their own version of an iPhone. They call them potential iPhone killers. For instance, there's BlackBerry that just came out with the Storm, which is their alternative to BlackBerry fans out there clapping. Their alternative. Samsung came out with the Instinct. Sprint came out with the Touch Diamond. Sony came out with the Experientia. I'm not sure what that one is. Not to be outdone, GM, you know, General Motors. They've been having some financial troubles lately, so they came out with their own phone, which surprised a lot of people since they generally make vehicles, but their phone is called the Bailout. It's brand new. The problem is it only receives calls. It doesn't give, it just receives. But and this whole iPhone phenomena is built on the platform of what is called the iPod. And the iPod turned the whole MP3 market around. Up to that point, there were a lot of variations on trying to take MP3 players and make them usable, but the iPod, with its usability and so forth, captured the market. In fact, I think that they have 90% of the portable music player market. And since 2007, 150 million iPods have been sold. And, you know, it is great because you can have your music on demand. No longer do you have to listen to a radio station that doesn't play the songs you want to hear. You can listen to what you want to hear when you want to hear it on your iPod. Also, you can get podcasts, which is kind of nice because we, along with a lot of other ministries, offer our teaching program, A New Beginning, in downloadable form, so you can put it on your iPod. So when you're out exercising or out and about in town or doing whatever you want to do, at home, cooking, doesn't matter, you can listen to what you want to hear when you want to hear it. This is all about information on demand. We don't want to be told what we can see or hear when others want us to hear and see it. We want it when we want it. TiVo has captured the television market and other variations on that, where you can watch your program when you want to watch it. And the good news is you can fast forward through the commercials. And I'm using this as a metaphor for really our culture today. I think you could call our generation the iGeneration. It's all about us. It's all about us getting what we want, when we want to get it, information on demand, sometimes even our morality on demand, if you will. It was an interesting article that just came out. You may have read it, a study that was done on the young people of today and their behavior and their ethics. It was a 2008 report card on the ethics of American youth. The Los Angeles-based organization said the teenagers' responses to questions about lying, stealing, and cheating reveals entrenched habits of dishonesty for the workforce of the future. So it's sort of a glimpse into what is to come, because here's our young people today and how they feel about certain issues. For instance, it was revealed in this study that boys were found to lie and steal more than girls. Why doesn't that surprise me? Sorry, boys. Overall, 30% of students admitted to stealing from a store within the past year. That's a 2% rise from 2006. That's a lot of people going into stores and stealing something. More than 1/3 of boys, 35%, said they had stolen goods, compared to 26% of girls. And an overwhelming majority, 83% of public schools and private religious school students admitted to lying to their parents about something significant. So 1/3 of them admit to stealing from stores. 83% of them admit to lying about something, be they in a public school or in a religious school, to their parents. The study found cheating in school continues to be rampant, and it's getting worse. According to those surveyed, 64% said they had cheated on a test, compared to 60% in 2006, and 38% said they had done so 2 or more times. Despite these high levels of dishonesty, the study revealed these same kids have a high self-image when it comes to ethics. I find that especially interesting. They think they're just fine. 93% of the students indicated satisfaction with their own character and ethics, with 77% saying that when it comes to doing what is right, I'm better than most people I know. They did admit, though, one of the problems of this survey was many of the people who were interviewed probably lied. So that's your future workforce. So how do you reach a generation like that? The iGeneration, a generation that makes up their own morals. It reminds us of that time that the Bible describes in the book of Judges, when it says that everyone did what was right in his own eyes. That's a good description of our time today. Rather than living by a set of absolute standards like the Ten Commandments, we make up our own standards, and we have our morality on a sliding scale, and we think we're better off than, or better than, the person next to us. This reminds us of a time that Isaiah described as people calling good evil and calling evil good, calling sweet bitter and calling bitter sweet. That's where our culture is today. We mock what is good and pure, and we celebrate what is wicked and sinful. The world is really upside down. So how do you reach a culture like this? Here's the answer. You reach this culture the same way that we reached the culture of 100 years ago, and 300 years ago, and 500 years ago, and 2,000 years ago. You reach each culture with the authority and the message of God's word that never changes no matter what. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever.